All right, here's a little special treat for you guys. This is a fly called a Zirdle bug, and sort of a combination of a zonker and a girdle bug. And it's a great crawdad pattern. Really a very simple fly to tie as well. So what I've got here in the vise is a Hanak 400 size 8, and I've got a 3.8 millimeter orange tungsten slotted bead. Obviously, you know, whatever color bead you want, and really whatever color or whatever size hook you want. But I'm going to start with some black 6/0 unithread, and I'm going to start it just up here behind the bead, get him set up there just right, and I like to build a little wedge of thread just to prop him up. I'm going to bring my thread back to the bend, and once I get there, I'm going to take a piece of medium-sized variegated chenille. And this is olive and rust here, and I like to strip the end. If you kind of pull on it, you can leave just the cotton core sticking out. And I'm going to tie it in just by that tip end, right there at the bend. I want to back that up just a little bit. Tie that in and anchor that core down nice and tight. And then right here at the middle of the hook, I'm going to come in with some Superfloss, and what I've got here is, this is rusty olive because I just tied a patch rubber leg the other day, and this is still sitting on my desk. But you could use, you know, again, whatever color or combination of colors you might like. But I've got 3 strands of rusty olive here, and you can see there's some variegation even amongst, I just cut that out of the package, some variation in that dye lot for sure. But I'm going to tie these in like spinner wings right at the center of the hook. So a couple of X wraps one way and a couple the other way. And then I like to pull on them tight, and that'll kind of square them up. So we've got those sticking out to the sides. Like so. Then I'll bring my thread right on up just behind the bead. Now I'm going to start to wrap this chenille, and you can, same trick, if these legs are in your way in the meantime, just take a turn of thread around them. Start to wrap your chenille, and you don't want to be too far down the bend here, but you're going to make a couple of turns, and then take the backmost leg on your near side and catch it with the turn of chenille, and do the same to the backmost leg on the far side. Get another turn in between there, and we'll come between the next set of legs. You can see I'm just maneuvering the leg and the chenille, just kind of placing the chenille in between the legs and lining up the wraps. And I'll take a turn in front of there so that we've got these sort of spread out down the body. And you can see by pulling on that, I can kind of sweep these back. Let me get another turn on there so that they're just evenly spread through the body. I come up right up to the back of the bead. I like to kind of crowd this one a little bit. And tie that chenille off, and come in and trim them out of there, and then get a nice little collar built in there just to lock things down. So basically all we've done is a patch rubber leg so far. So now I'm going to take, this is an olive variant rabbit strip, and you can tie these with squirrel strip as well. I'm going to take this rabbit strip, and I'm going to poke the hook point through it. I want at least enough length here that I could reach the hook eye. But I'm going to poke this hook point through this rabbit strip. Then I'll take the hook out of the vise and slide it up around the bend. And I'm even going to turn this over a bit. Not a bit, I'm going to turn it over all the way and clamp it back down in my vise. So you can see now where I've kind of laid that in. Now, the best way to catch the end of this rabbit strip, I want that snugged right up against the end of the body. And you can see I've got more length than I need. But the best way to catch it tightly is to grab a hold of some of the fur down here. You can kind of wet the rest of it. And you want this centered right over the top of the fly. And I kind of buckle it down. And then I'll catch it with a turn. Then I can kind of pull that fur out of the way so I can get a clean tie off. And I'm going to come in and trim this out just as close as I can. It usually takes a couple snips. So we can get a nice clean little head there. Let me bring that back up for you. Then I'll sweep things back, and I'm just going to build just enough thread wraps there to smooth everything off. Then I'll come in and whip finish. Trim my thread out. And these legs I like about a shank length long, maybe a touch longer on this short jig hook. But I do like to leave them long. About like so there. And then if I turn them back over, I'll show you an easy trick for gauging the length. Bring them back down again. If you pull your rabbit strip forward and part the fur right at the back of the collar, and come through and cut just the hide, not the fur. So it's just got a short little stub there. Now you can see the end of this rabbit strip is cut square. I do like to taper that. And you can tie these much longer. I don't like them too long. I like a little bit shorter, kind of stouter, smaller crawdad kind of pattern. Like this. Kind of arrange that fur around the hook point. And get a hold of him just right. And there's our Zirdle bug. Simple little fly. And if you use your imagination a little, you can see where the crawdad idea comes from. That'll kind of slick back. He's got little legs sticking out. Put a little shot of head cement on there just to lock things down. And there we go. That's our Zirdle. I hope you guys like that one. You should tie some of those up. Crawdads are underfished for sure, and it's something that I think everybody should have more of in their box. A little pattern like this, simple as it is, hard to argue with. I'm going to give you a little more light here. That fly got darker and darker as we tied. There we go. It's a little more like it. Kind of get the idea of those legs there. I'm a one-man show. We don't have a cameraman here at Charlie's Fly Box. Well, we do, but his name is Charlie also. But at any rate, so hopefully that gets you the idea there. And that's our Zirdle bug. Twist some of those up, put them in your box. Go throw that maybe instead of a leech sometimes. See what happens. Crawdads are a lot more widespread than you think, and fish know what they are. So you should fish with one. That's my advice for the day. Fish with a crawdad. See what happens. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Charlie Craven.